Well, it's April Fool's again. That means we're doing another weird scenario. If you haven't seen the past 3 years, I've been doing pretty strange scenarios for April Fools. Scenarios that completely change the story in very weird ways. And for this year, you guys voted on this. As a result of hitting his head, Goku ended up losing his memories as a Saiyan, which helped lead him to becoming good like he is today. But what if we were to do the same thing to someone else, like Vegeta? This is what you guys asked for, so this is what I'm gonna do. What if Vegeta hit his head and ended up turning good? It's a goofy idea and perfect for April Fools. I'll throw a like on the screen, and if we hit that, I'll continue this into a full series. Anyways, let's begin. In terms of when this happens, we're gonna say it happens while Vegeta's a kid. He still gets sent out on missions. I mean, we even saw this in the Broly movie. Even at a few years old, he was being sent out to different planets. And this is a perfect way for him to hit his head, actually. I mean, where else will you face constant blunt trauma to the head? This is probably the most effective way other than being Grandpa Gohan and dropping babies. But we'll say by this point, this is a long time after the Saiyans died. A few years, actually. Vegeta's already fairly strong by this point. And he, Nappa, and Raditz have been pretty successful in the Frieza Force. They're pretty well established, and everyone knows how Vegeta operates. Although he still hasn't reached his growth spurt yet. Even though he's a teenager, he still looks small, as Saiyans tend to look. He still is in his formative years. And this ends up working against him, of course. One day on a mission, they're facing some particularly strong opponents. Nothing unusual for the Saiyans, and they're able to claim victory here. But there's a survivor left. While their guard is down, a sneak attack is launched at Vegeta, with a powerful ki blast being sent right to his head. He can't dodge it in time, and it ends up hitting him. Raditz and Nappa of course finish off the survivor, but after being hit by this attack, Vegeta's launched a couple dozen feet away, and hits his head once more. We gotta make sure he really hits his head hard. The two other Saiyans come over to him. He looks okay, but he's unconscious. That was a pretty nasty hit that he took to the head. They're surprised it didn't just go through his head since he was off guard. They take him back immediately. Well, on the bright side, he should get a nice boost in power from this. So will hitting his head activate some cool psychic powers like Bardock? Nope. He's gonna become a goofball like Goku. They're able to get him medical attention, but by the time they arrive back at their base, it's already a little bit too late. The head trauma has taken some effect. They're unsure if there will be permanent damage or not. At first, he's in a coma for a bit, as expected with a severe blow to the head like that. But thankfully, it's not too much of a concern. He fully recovers. And as far as everyone can tell, there's not going to be any long-lasting damage, but the doctors do note something. While he was healing, they noticed that his brain showed some sort of signs of amnesia. They're not sure if it'll be permanent or not, and how much it affects him. Other than that, he seems perfectly fine. Vegeta steps out of the healing pod, somewhat confused. Nappa and Raditz are there to greet him, and he doesn't actually recognize them. Well, Nappa's glad that he's talking and moving normally, so it just seems like he lost his memory. That's fine, they'll be sure to jog it again. But the two other Saiyans don't realize it's much more than that. The Saiyans aren't sent out on any missions because they need Vegeta to lead them, and Frieza thinks it's not a good idea to send Vegeta out. Until he gets all this sorted, he won't really be effective on missions, which could be a good thing because then Frieza won't have to worry about the Saiyans, they'll just be eliminated. But he also recognizes how valuable they are as soldiers, so he's not going to do that. He wants to get his full use out of them. Nappa and Raditz surprisingly learn that Vegeta's actually forgotten his name too, and other things like that. He doesn't know who he's working with, where he is, or what's going on. It seems it might be worse than they thought. It's exactly what happened with Goku when he hit his head. He forgot who he was and why he was sent to Earth, and Vegeta's forgetting pretty much all of his past too. They try and jog his memory as much as possible. He realizes that they're his allies, and he learns that he's a Saiyan, working for an army called the Frieza Force. They even try to remind him of the history of the Saiyans, and how Vegeta's the prince. But nothing jogs his memory. Well, maybe they're going about it wrong. Why not try training with him? Actions might jog his memory better than words do. Surprisingly, when they're training, Vegeta still has a natural talent for fighting, and he's surprised. It seems so well ingrained in him that even after suffering this amnesia, he kinda remembers how to fight too. And he relearns to control his power. Alright, at least he has that, but Raditz and Nappa are getting increasingly concerned. The strongest person in the group forgets who he is. And beyond that, he doesn't seem like himself. He's not acting like himself. When he learns what they did, he actually seemed somewhat horrified about it. They were working under some emperor destroying planets for money? Vegeta didn't seem to like that, especially once he was told that he was the one leading everybody too. And another big shock was the fact that he was actually the prince of the Saiyans. At some point, Frieza decides Vegeta's fine to go fight. I mean, he's been watching Vegeta training too. He could still fight, and he has the other two for guidance. They could send Vegeta on some easier missions. He doesn't want Vegeta wasting any more time around here. A few months have already gone by, and he kinda needs Vegeta to actually do something. No more excuses for it. Vegeta can't avoid going on a mission anymore, and he's not looking forward to this, but he doesn't know what to do. It's not like he could just go against what Frieza says, because if he does, that's gonna be the death of him. Frieza or one of his soldiers will probably just be able to kill Vegeta. And he doesn't want to do the mission either because he's just gonna be executing innocent people. It's not something he wants to do. Raditz and Nappa wonder if he'll ever regain a sense of himself. He's caught up to speed now, but he's not returning to his normal self. His demeanor's completely different. Vegeta doesn't want to be that same Brutus warrior that he was, but now he's being forced to go on this mission, and that Frieza guy's terrible. He doesn't want to work under him either. Well, at least that's something Raditz and Nappa agree with. But it's not like anybody has a choice. When they're sent out on the mission, they land on the planet that they're supposed to clear out. The inhabitants aren't very strong. It's a pretty easy mission for Vegeta. Raditz and Nappa get ready to fight, but as soon as they do, Vegeta then goes back in his space pod and deserts them. He leaves his scouter behind too, not wanting to be tracked. And he's already figured out too, he's disabled any sort of tracking on his spaceship as well. He doesn't want anyone to find him, at least not Frieza. Raditz and Nappa are just dumbfounded, and they don't know what to do. They gotta chase Vegeta down. If they let him leave now, they're not gonna be able to find him later. At least now they can still see his spaceship. They can chase it that way. But they can clearly see what he's trying to do. He's trying to go off the grid somehow. He wants to evade the Frieza Force. He wants to desert them. Raditz curses it. He then crushes his scouter in his hands, going into his space pod and doing the same thing. Nappa asks him what the hell he's doing, and Raditz says he's gotta track down Vegeta somehow. If they don't leave now, they're gonna lose Vegeta for good and they'll have no chance at finding him. But Nappa can't believe it. Are they actually gonna desert the Frieza Force? They're gonna be tracked down by Frieza and killed. But he guesses they probably have no choice. If Frieza finds out that Vegeta was able to desert them, well, Nappa and Raditz will probably be the ones punished for it. Even if they don't go after Vegeta, Frieza will probably think that they're colluding with him. Damn it all. Alright, Nappa does the same thing. They desert as well. They're more loyal to Vegeta and the Saiyans rather than Frieza himself, so they'd rather do whatever he's doing. Maybe he's got a plan in mind, but why is he acting like this? He's acting so rash. They know he's been weird ever since he hit his head, but still, to do this? They manually fly their space pods chasing Vegeta down. And they fly for a while, eventually landing on some planet that's actually out of Frieza's reach. Vegeta waits for them to land, and he says he's glad that they followed him. He actually located this planet a while ago. That's why he was stalling for so long, trying not to go on a mission. He wanted to find a new place to go. He was planning on deserting the Frieza Force. This planet is habitable, and it's one that Frieza wasn't even aware of, and even if he was, it's not something worthwhile. It seems pretty barren, but Vegeta says they'll at least be able to find food here, and it's a place where they could breathe. That's really all they could ask for. Nappa and Raditz see, he's planned this. He's still very strategic, just like he was before. It's so strange though because his personality is completely different, and Vegeta talks with them. He has no clue what happened with him, why he lost his memories. He knows what happened, but he doesn't know why it happened like that. He's been in the heat of battle before, at least according to Raditz and Nappa, and he can tell he's strong. He has a gift, as some sort of elite class warrior, at least that's what Nappa says. But he doesn't want that gift going to waste. He doesn't want to be a slave to Frieza. Besides him not wanting to do that dirty work, it's more than just him wanting to be good now. Raditz and Nappa don't get why suddenly he just doesn't want to do this job anymore. They don't realize why he suddenly views this as wrong. But another part of what Vegeta's saying resonates with them, the fact that he doesn't want to be a slave to Frieza. That's something they can at least agree with. Vegeta wants to rebel against Frieza. Right now they're not nearly strong enough, but from what he knows about himself, and from what he's learned from Raditz and Nappa, he thinks that maybe, as Saiyans, they could overpower him someday. Do the universe a favor, and then maybe he can live some sort of normal life. Raditz and Nappa still have evil intentions. They're the same Saiyans they've always been, but they're still loyal to Vegeta. They're not going to go against him, and Vegeta recognizes this too. They're not necessarily great people either, but he'd rather team up with the devil that he knows than the devil he doesn't. They are the lesser of two evils, the enemy of my enemy, whatever sort of saying you want to use for them. Point being, he knows he could trust them. He can't trust Frieza. And even if they want to part ways eventually, he tells them that's fine. They don't need to follow him forever. He just wants to defeat Frieza. He doesn't expect them to turn good either, but he does tell them one thing. If they stand against him, he'll be sure to defeat them. He wants to live his own life now. He doesn't want to go around doing this anymore. As for Raditz and Nappa, they honestly don't really know what to say. As Saiyan warriors, it's in their blood. And Vegeta says he hasn't lost his love for fighting. He just doesn't desire to fight people that are innocent, random civilians that the Saiyans are executing. Raditz and Nappa say they might not understand what Vegeta's going through now, but at least for the Frieza part, the fact that he wants to rebel against him, they respect that. And they say they'll work with Vegeta now. It's not like they have a choice. They already deserted the Frieza Force anyways. And once they actually defeat Frieza, they'll see where they go from there. Vegeta has no clue of what he wants to do after, but he'll find that along the way. Although, what are they actually supposed to do here? They have to work things out. As for Frieza, he eventually finds out that the Saiyans somehow disappeared. When scouts are sent to that planet, they see a couple craters where their spaceships once were, with the remains of their scouters and some pieces of armor. When Nappa and Raditz left, they tried to make it look like the Saiyans died somehow. But it's kinda tough to do that because there's no traces of the spaceship left. It was at least worth a try though, and Frieza's suspicious. At first, the scouts buy the idea that the Saiyans actually died here. They find the remains and assume they were just wiped away with their spaceships somehow. But Frieza says that seems a little bit too convenient. Who's to say they haven't deserted him? I mean, Vegeta's been acting weird all of a sudden, but that doesn't explain why Raditz and Nappa would have done so, unless they were colluding with Vegeta. Not to mention, this shouldn't have been a tough mission. There's no way the Saiyans could have been eliminated. His scouts end up finishing the job anyways, and that just shows them this. Nobody's too sure what happened with them, and there's no way to track the Saiyans either. Sure, maybe they did actually die, but Frieza doesn't fully buy that. He still thinks they're out there somewhere, trying to plan against him. But even if that is the case, he's not too worried. Angered? Yeah, but worried? Not at all. If they try and rise up against him, what are they gonna do? I mean, he's Frieza. He'll defeat them easily. Besides, this is the perfect excuse for him to get rid of them. He already wanted to in the first place and didn't really need an excuse, but now, why keep them around after they betray him? Frieza's not gonna let his guard down yet. He doesn't fully believe they're dead, and he'll make sure to be on the lookout for them. He'll find the Saiyans again. Back on this other planet, the Saiyans are trying to figure out what to do now. Raditz and Nappa are still unsure about Vegeta's judgment, but clearly, he still seems to be the same strategic person that he was before. They saw him training, he's a great warrior still. He has all that, it's almost like it's inherent to him. It's just his personality, his demeanor. All of that's different. And of course the fact that he lost his memories still. It doesn't seem like he's going to be back to his normal self anytime soon. But even if he did go back to his normal self, this is probably something he would do anyways, rebelling against Frieza. But they recognize they need to get stronger, a lot stronger. And not just that, but maybe they could try and find some more allies. But Vegeta's confused. What other allies? Well, Nappa says he's not too sure if anyone in the Frieza Force will join. But there are other Saiyans out there. Vegeta can't believe that. Wait, there are? Why wasn't he told about this? Well, Raditz and Nappa kind of glossed over this, they just forgot to include it. When they were telling Vegeta about his past again, they said all the Saiyans died, but apparently there's at least 2 others out there. One of them actually being Vegeta's brother. Nappa says the issue is with that, they don't know where Vegeta's brother is. Or how strong he is for that matter. And not just that, but he's also pretty young. He was sent out specifically because he was weak, so even if they do find him, which is a big if, they don't know if he'll be strong enough to help. Vegeta does want to find him, it's his brother after all. And once again, this is pretty off-putting for the 2 other Saiyans, seeing Vegeta actually care about others. At least in this way, it's not in the Saiyan's nature to actually care about people like this. Something really has changed with him. Okay, well, he asked who the other Saiyan is, they said at least 2 are out there. Well, there's still the same kind of issue. It's another weak Saiyan, as far as they know at least. But they actually do know where this Saiyan is. It's Raditz's younger brother. He's only a few years younger, so he should be fighting by now. And the planet he was sent to was pretty weak. Raditz did want to seek out Kakarot eventually, but why not do that now then? Vegeta still does want to find his brother Tarble. But in the meantime, yeah, they'll at least seek out Kakarot. They know where he is, so it's worth a shot. But he wonders too. It'll be weird meeting another Saiyan, especially once he's seen how these 2 have acted. He's gonna be another evil Saiyan, isn't he? There's gonna be 3 versus 1. Who knows if they'll rebel against Vegeta? As far as Vegeta could tell, these 2 trust him right now. He's not sure if this Kakarot person will, especially if he's still a normal Saiyan, but it's at least worth a shot. Seek him out, find an ally to fight against Frieza. They stay here on this planet for a bit, planning. There's a brief passage of time. Right now, the year is age 752. What's happened on Earth? Well, nothing really. The story went exactly the same, there's no reason for that to change here. Goku's doing his training for the 22nd World Tournament. This is about a year before that. He's still off on his own. Unbeknownst to him, he's about to have some visitors. Goku sees 3 figures flying above him. They look like meteors almost. He has no clue what that is, and by now he still can't even sense anything. Are those spaceships maybe? No, they can't be. But he's curious. He goes to check it out. The 3 space pods land. With the time that has passed by now, Vegeta and Raditz probably would have gone through their growth spurts already. And as the 3 Saiyans step off, they realize they don't have their scouters. They abandoned them just to make sure that Frieza couldn't track them, and as a way to try to fake their death. There might be some other scouters left on the ships that they have, extras in case they break mid-battle, but the Saiyans don't really want to activate them. They want to make sure Frieza really can't track them. But this poses an issue. How are they supposed to find Kakarot if they can't sense Ki? And if they don't have scouters, what are they supposed to do to locate him? But they see a yellow cloud up ahead, flying towards them, and Raditz can kind of see there's someone sitting on top of it, looking like he's riding that cloud. Nappa laughs. They're probably not going to have to search far. A kid lands in front of them, and Raditz can immediately tell that hairstyle. This definitely is Kakarot. He even has the tail. They can't believe they found him that easily, and they're kind of surprised. They knew Kakarot was apparently younger than Raditz, but he still hasn't even gone through his growth spurt yet. They can't tell if he's strong either because they don't have any scouters, and Raditz is the first to talk to him. Goku doesn't really know how to react either. Something feels off about this, and Raditz greets him as Kakarot. But Goku has no idea who that is. He says they must be mistaking him for someone else. But Goku sees they all have tails like him too. He asks them what's going on here. He pulls out his power pole, thinking that these might be threats. They seem very imposing, and they don't look like normal humans. I mean, they just came here on space pods too, but at the same time, they look like him if anything. He's confused and a little bit concerned, but Raditz is just as confused. Doesn't he recognize Raditz? Well, Raditz is grown now. Kakarot probably remembers how he looked as a kid at least. He should have at least seen Raditz while he was in the incubation chamber, right? Or at least heard of his name. But Goku says he has no idea of who he is, or who this Kakarot is. How could he forget his own brother? He says his name is Goku, and as far as he knows, he doesn't have a brother. He was raised by Grandpa Gohan, here on Earth, and he asked the 3 of them why they have tails just like him. Wait a second, there's no way. The 3 Saiyans are all thinking the same thing. There's no way this could have possibly happened here too, right? Well, Vegeta's the one to step up and finally ask the question. And as Goku looks up at Vegeta, for some reason he feels like this guy's not as intimidating as the other 2. Besides his smaller stature, he just seems more friendly than them. He asks Goku, by chance, does he remember anything from when he was a kid? Goku doesn't remember anything. Did he hit his head or something? Goku's not actually sure. He says maybe his master Roshi would know. But the only other person who would know that is Gohan, who's dead by now. It can't actually be the case. Did Kakarot hit his head too, just like Vegeta? But Vegeta assumes this is still the case, and he tells Goku he doesn't need to worry. They're not here as threats. He needs to take a different approach to this. He knows Raditz and Nappa are probably going to act rash here, but Vegeta could see. This kid's exactly like him. He's not some brutish Saiyan like he was imagining. He seems kind and gentle. He tells the other two he'll handle this, and he asks Goku if he can speak to him alone. Vegeta says the two of them are probably similar, and he tries to explain briefly what happened. They're both Saiyans. Kakarot, or Goku, he was sent here a long time ago, and he might have lost his memory, just like Vegeta had. And Vegeta says they're here for a good purpose. They were specifically seeking out Goku, but before they do anything else, he does want to test one thing. He wants to see how strong Goku is. And Goku still isn't sure if these guys are threats or not, but it's not like that matters. Either way, they're gonna need to fight. And this Vegeta guy seems friendlier, so he doesn't mind fighting him. Actually, it's been a while since he's fought against someone, so this could be fun. And Goku reiterates, he still can't tell if these guys are bad or not. But either way, he's looking forward to the fight. And then he wants to know why they're truly here. Goku assumes a battle stance, and Vegeta smiles, doing the same. He wonders if this Kakarot, or this Goku guy, if he's any different from the other Saiyans. Looks like he's about to find out. And this is where we'll leave off for now. What'd you guys think about this part? What's gonna happen next time if this story continues? Let me know your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you want to support the channel if you haven't already. It shows me you guys want to see more videos like this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.